What is going on, guys? It is time for some patch notes, which I know I'm going to be a little bit late getting to this. I have been playing a bunch of Slay the Spire 2 this weekend, but I wanted to go over the patch notes really quick. I'll have this video go up early tomorrow morning so that it goes out before the patch is technically live, in case anybody hasn't already watched somebody else go over this or read the patch notes themselves. But yeah, let's quickly go over these version 1.12.4 patch notes. There should not be a crazy amount of information here, since this is just a couple of balance tweaks, and then this is so that PCC is on the same for everything, is why this is the way that it is. So yep, they're a little bit early on the patch notes. Quantum code. Yes, yeah. So if you haven't logged in and gotten your free quantum code or quantum core, you can get this. I got a Bellica recall, or not Bellica recall. I got that quantum energy recall that you got if you had bought that Bellica skin a while back. But yeah, okay. Daybreak version 2 already out. So yeah, jump in, try it out. Again, give your feedback, to talk about what's going on. I will have a video going up on the version 2 map that'll probably go up on Thursday. So, yep, rebalance jungle, rearrange jungle, good changes. Just keep giving the good feedback. Okay, the bundle, Victorious bundle, buy the bundle, buy the bundle, buy the bundle. This is the only time I will say buy, like, spend money on Pred, and this is because this is the bundle that goes towards the comp skins. Or yeah, there's the competitive aspect. Like, so if you buy this bundle, all the money for it goes towards the towards PCC / just all of the competitive stuff. So yeah, there's all these different bundles, so you don't have to buy all the bundles, obviously, but buy a bundle. I will probably be buying the support bundle because I'm a support character, so yeah. All right, I have to look at all of them in game though. Friend reward competition still going on. Hey, some Schmidt, what's up? Thanks so much for the follow. World Shift Frostfall update. So Frostfall is gone for at least 2 weeks. Maybe it'll be gone forever. The reason I don't like the Frost map, is there's a couple of key characters that it really just screws over in terms of gameplay. Like, Decker off the top of my head. Her Q does not work properly with the ice map. Like, you use your Q in lane where there's a bridge, and it just doesn't work. They just get to stand under the bridge and take no damage, so I don't know. Changes to the Daybreak jungle, just some readjustments. All right, here is the actual information. Again, this won't be too crazy long, but heroes, Acheron, a little bit more physical power. That's just your basic attacks. You still have to build him completely magical, and a little bit more damage on your crunch, your alternate. Aurora, little too good right now, so she's getting a little bit of scaling reduced on her E, a little bit of explosion damage reduced on her right click, and her ult is just getting an overall nerf in terms of damage. Argus, insane right now. Yeah, like, incredible pressure early lane. Yeah, just is ridiculous. So they're nerfing his mana augment a little bit, just on the non-hero mana. So basically, when he's hitting minions, he doesn't get as much of his mana back. Losing 30 mana on Argus, that's actually a pretty big deal, especially early game, because that's like 3 clicks of your right click. Mana regen, but your mana regen increased. Interesting. Disintegrate, nerfed his passive a little bit. Higher cooldown on your Q, and your alternate scales a little bit less. We'll have to see in gameplay how much those changes actually come out, but it needed to be done. Countess. They are decreasing the cost of her Q and making it scale a little bit more. Cool. Drongo. Buffing Drongo a little bit. Because, yeah, right now, the changes that they made with everybody's range have made your characters that don't have that extra range a little bit hard to play, and the characters that do have that range, namely Skylar, fucking insane, which we'll get to her here in a bit. But Drongo is just getting a slight damage increase across the board. Just his passive gets a little bit more increase. His rad rounds get a little bit more scaling. They didn't do anything crazy here. Your old Rusty just gets some more damage late. So nothing insane. They just give him a little bump. Feng Mao. Feng Mao feels terrible right now. And I'm not even much of a Feng Mao player, but like the little bit of him that I touch, they are changing his damage a little bit on his E. I don't think that's the problem. I don't think it's his damage that's the problem. It's like just how he feels. Mana scale. Yeah, Gid's broken. Okay. Yeah, so nerfing his mana scaling a little bit. Yeah, nerfing his Q a little bit. And increasing the cooldown on his right click a little bit. Yeah, like 1 second late game. Okay. Grim is ridiculous right now. They are... What changes are we making here? Okay, you get a little bit less attack speed from your E. A little bit less scaling. And a little bit less scaling. Yeah, so you just get a little bit less scaling. Your ult... pretty big damage nerf late game, actually. Nothing on your first level. But yeah, like, it took 120 base damage off of that. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, they just nerfed it. Damn. Okay, Grux got a little bit less health and a little bit less armor. And heals a little bit less. Okay. Howie feels not great. The change on his Q. So, yeah, it takes too long to charge as the feedback, like you're sitting duck. But they want that apparently. They want to commit to charging the missile as a unique payoff, and yeah, and they acknowledge that the downsides currently outweigh the payoffs. Made some general adjustments. So yeah, R200 missile primary, little bit of an increase to the damage, which I don't know if his damage was what we were all really worried about. Landmine, well, hold on, I'm sorry. You move a little bit faster while you're hovering now. Decreased the max charge time to 0.8 seconds, and your max hover time was also decreased by 0.1 seconds. Cooldown on your landmine was decreased early game. It's the same late game, but you have 2 seconds shorter cooldown on it early game. Slow grenades, same thing. Or no, well, they keep retaining it late game. Kalari, insane. Okay, her dagger refund is reduced. Her execution refund is only 40% now. She gets a little bit less base physical power. A little bit less scaling on her basics. Damage reduced by 5 on the dagger. Okay. And your ultimate scaling was... Okay, scaling on the ultimate is pretty crazy, because that's 15% late game. So that's a good amount of reduced scaling on that. Kai. Again, kind of broken right now. A little bit less base health right now. Your passive decay time... Okay, so now you start losing your passive half a second faster. But you lose regen per rate. Okay, and they nerf your healing a bit. I'm not going to go through all these numbers, but At max stacks, you're going from 1.76 seconds to 1.15. Your secondary heals a little bit less and has a 5-second higher cooldown late game. That's a pretty big deal. 5 seconds longer on that is not a short amount of time, especially in team fights. And your ult has a 25-second longer cooldown late game, 15-second or early game, 15 late game. That's again pretty big changes. Let's see. More damage on your alternate and less scaling on your ult. Yeah. Mako. More mana, really. Less mana growth. Okay, yeah, so you'll have less base mana late game. Mana regen decreased, mana regen growth increased. Okay, so just kind of a shift, we'll call it. Passive, you get less speed. Good. Fall off delay decreased by 1 full second. That's really good. So now you will not be immune to slows and stuff at 1.5 seconds. Or for 2.5 seconds only, for a second and a half. Your Q, decreased damage, less movement speed duration, increase in mana cost. Yeah, when they changed that thing for him to be able to heal himself, it's insane. And a 1 second late game cooldown increase on your Mako Fly. Okay, Morgesh. Broken. If you did not watch my video talking about how absolutely broken this character is, broken. Needed some changes. Let's go over them. Her Ritual of Death augment. You 20% less healing late game on it. No change early, 10%, then 20% late game. Okay. You did not need to run this augment for this character to be broken. Okay. Physical power decreased. Physical armor decreased. Attack speed increased. Okay, I don't know why they buffed your attack speed and your bat. Guess you're going the frickin' basic attack augment now, if you weren't already. Your passive got nerfed by 0.7%. That's good. And your power scaling on your passive is decreased by 0.1. Okay. Your Q decreased by 5%. Okay. This is what really needed the reduction. I mean, they also, like, reducing your physical armor does mean you can get, like, bopped more. Yeah, less healing, less damage reduction on it, and the duration decreased from 4 to 3.5 seconds. They didn't change anything about the running into minions and getting a bunch of refresh on this. So guess what? This is still broken. Mark. Okay, some reductions on the healing. That's good. Mana refund reduced to 65%. That's really good, so you can't just get free kills on minions with this. Yeah, okay. I don't know if that's enough. We'll have to see. All right, Morn, movement speed decreased. I mean, this is still good. Like, don't get me wrong. This is still very good late game. You can just run at people with this augment right now. It's kind of funny. And a little bit less scaling on your Q. Passive, a little bit less scaling for Murdoch on his passive, and a little bit less damage on your shotgun. A little bit less scaling. 20% late game is not nothing to be snuffed at. And also 20 less base damage. Okay, yeah, that should be doing a good bit less damage. Muriel, broken right now. Which I know you're gonna hear a lot of, oh, this character's broken. Yeah, they made a lot of shit broken. A little bit less mana regen, but you get a little bit more mana regen growth, so a little bit less early game, a little bit more late game, which is fine. Your so again, they changed up what all of Muriel's abilities were. So now your Q is what your right click was, your E is what your Q was, and your right click is what your E was. I think that's right. Yeah. So either way, little bit less shield on your Q, a little bit less damage. Okay, a little bit less damage on your E, and a little bit more, or a little bit less stun on your right click, and a little bit, 1 more second of cooldown. Big reduction to the shield. This is a big deal. This is a 220 reduction on the shield of your ult, and 10% reduction on the damage reduction. Your Muriel ult's still really good. Narbash. Yeah. Your healing is just kind of low right now. However, there's certain things about him that are like do feel really good right now. That physical power augment doesn't feel the greatest. But either way, okay. So, physical power, aura, and March activation now grant assist when they buff an ally hero. Cool. Your healing on your Q. So when you buff your Q, or when you buff your E, you get more healing increase from it, and the scaling on it. Apparently, you are supposed to buff your Q, not your E first. Apparently, you get better healing and move speed by buffing your Q first instead of buffing your E first. So, do that. Neon, they are changing her Docs augment a bit. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the base 8% is kind of crazy. Base 5% is still going to be good. Again, so Neon right now is like, if you are good with her, she's really good right now. If you're like you don't play mid lane very often, you're not a burst character. Like, I'm not a burst player. I'm not. So Neon's not a character that I'm super good with. But for those people that are, yeah, let's get you out of here. Cool. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, they're buffing her Q damage a bit. Cost decrease. Yeah, so they buffed her Q. It does go not as a little bit. It goes 125 units less distance, and you did get a little bit of a reduce on your E, a little bit of damage reduction on your right click. This is the thing that they had that needed to be changed. So right now, if you dash with Neon right click, you get immunity frames. They're taking that off. Apparently, it was causing a bunch of issues in the fact like how you would interact with abilities, so you don't get that anymore. You can get hit by stuff while dashing now. So if you're playing like Argus into Neon, and you can still dodge his Q with your dash, but it's not like a guaranteed dodge. Like if he throws it correctly, you're still gonna get stunned, pretty much. Phase changed the camera cast on her Q and slightly decrease on the slow on her E. But you do root in less stacks. Okay, Rampage. His augments, two good augments right now. You are getting a little bit less attack speed if you go Tiny Titan, and you're doing a bit less damage if you go Rumbling. Yeah, 7% scaling reduction and 20 late game damage reduction. Health, yeah, a little bit less health, a little bit less bonus scaling on your E, and a little bit less healing on your ult. Richter, they are changing your hook from like baby damage level 1 to now you do slightly more damage early, and Yeah, so now you can, I guess, do some damage with it late game. And you do a little bit more max health damage. Okay. Alright. Shinbi. Q increased by half a second late game. If you build all the haste, this is still going to be on a 1 second cooldown. Your ult, wolf damage is getting reduced by 8 late game, nothing early game, 4 mid game, magic power scaling, a little bit less. Stacks only last for 6 seconds now instead of 8. Skylar, again, the best ADC right now, most likely. Cooldown, you've got... right now, you're going to be doing no change early game, 1 second of cooldown decrease late game. Lose a little bit of range if you're going when you're flying. And hypercharge, so on your right click, your beam, a little bit less damage, a little bit less scaling. Steve. A little bit less physical power early, a little bit less attack speed, and your right click does, what is 192? 20 less damage. Like, okay, Steve is still insane. Because they changed nothing about that new augment they gave him. That is the only augment you should be going. TB. Q. Bonus physical scaling and more on hit. Okay? Your E, you have more on hit reduction and more cooldown refund. Your right click has a slight decrease to the cooldown. Wraith, don't pierce towers with your right click anymore. Okay. Wukong, slightly more mana growth. And you do a little bit more damage with your red E. Yin. A little more bonus physical scaling, or I'm sorry, a little bit less bonus physical scaling on your basic attacks. Yuri, a little bit less movement speed. Your Q is getting a little bit less healing, a little bit less damage, or I'm sorry, a little bit less missing health healing, and has been changed. You have 1 more second cooldown. And then your your E, a little bit less scaling. Xeris, general change to a lot, a little bit less health, a little bit less attack speed, a little bit less armor, a little bit less move speed. Passive, a little bit less healing, a little bit less scaling. Okay. Your E has had a mana change instead of just always being 50. If you max E, you're going to have 20 more mana cost on it, and a increase to the cooldown by 1 second late game. A little bit less scaling on your ult damage, and a little more cooldown late game, 10 seconds more. It's nothing crazy. Demon, all right, and that's everybody for heroes. Go to items. Demon Edge is doing a bit more damage to shields. I think that Astral Cat got the same change. Gaia Greaves gets a little bit less tenacity. Salvation has more of a shield. Yep, Astral Cat got the same change to that. Okay, Hexbound Bracers. Yep, mana restore a little bit. You don't get as easily infinite mana. Elefrost, a little bit more armor. Bug fixes. Let's see. I guess there is an issue with Neon Skin. Controllers get locked in the screen. Yeah, there was this issue with Grux where you would just get extra attack speed just in lane. It was kind of crazy. Jungle camp timers, replays, host bar. Okay, yeah, so a couple of bug fixes. But yeah, so that is going to be the patch notes. Again, play Daybreak 2.0, give your feedback, and yeah, get get yourself a Victorious bundle. All right, guys.